Celebrating 5 years of the new constitution that gave birth to devolution after the last general election in 2013, Dr. Alfred Mutua, who's the governor of Machakos County, not too far from where KTN studios are located. And we thank him for making the time to be with us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Asante sana.
So, you know, a little over 2 years in devolution and 5 years of the, you know, we keep calling it the new constitution. It may not be so new anymore.
Yes, yes, yes.
But talk to us about the services in your county specifically, and why all of a sudden it seems your county is the one that people are looking after.
I think what has happened is that when I became governor, I decided that we needed to do things differently. People ask me, you spent 9 years, close to 10 years with President Mwai Kibaki in his government. What did you learn? And I tell people what I learned is not how to do things, but rather not how to do things. In Kenya, we come up with fantastic ideas. We come up with books, with all these plans, but we don't execute. So I came up with Maendeleo Chap, which means that you plan and you execute. And you do it in a timely manner, in a better manner. And that is the only thing that we've done different in Machakos, is we don't sit down and talk while our people are suffering, is we get down, get our hands dirty, and provide services to wananchi.
All right, Maendeleo Chap, as you talk about it, and getting the services out to the people, but you are getting heat for that. Does that surprise you for a moment, or is this all political, Dr. Mutua?
It is political. You see, what has happened is that we've, and this is normal, we have a political class that has been in control of the people. They say squat, the people squat. They say jump, the people jump. People have been living on hope, hoping that one day they'll get piped water. One day they'll get tarmac roads. One day they'll get jobs, hoping that these leaders will take them from where they are to where they're supposed to be. We have come up and said that one day has arrived. It is no longer a dream. Other people have been able to do it. You look at what they have done in Singapore, in South Korea, in Dubai, in some of these nations that were actually poorer than us and equal to us when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta died. Machakos, we have said it is possible by changing our mindset and the way we work to bring that hope to reality. Now that is, it's confusing people of the political order who say, wait a minute, this thing is a threat to our way of life. We have been used to giving promises. Now, this guy is not just giving promises, he's actually keeping the promises.
Okay.
And so that's where the noise is coming from.
All right, so let's talk about keeping the promises.
Yes.
And some would say, Dr. Mutua, taking a look at your background and the work that you've done that Kenyans know you for, being government spokesman, that you're essentially the master of spin. And that a lot of what's happening in Machakos is simply that spin. Many people see the Machakos People's Park and some of these great things, but the tangible results for the old woman in the village and that sort of thing. And some people are saying, look, Dr. Mutua knows how to spin a good tale, and that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Well, I have to admit, I know how to tell my own story. If you don't tell your story, somebody else will tell it for you. But the reality is based on what is on the ground. When you've dug water, and the water is coming out, and it is going to somebody's home, an old woman did not have water. That is not spin, that is reality. When you tarmac a road that is being used, that is not, spin, that is reality. When you set up systems where people feel at last they have a government, that is the reality. And now I'm telling everybody, come to Machakos.
So can you give us some specifics?
See the ambulances. Let me tell you, for example. We have ambulances in every location. Today, a mother is giving birth. They do not have to die and bleed to death on the ground, waiting for Mkokoteni to take them to hospital. There's an ambulance that can get to them within 8 to 10 minutes.
How many ambulances?
We have 70 ambulances. We have 70 locations, so an ambulance for every location. But we also have an additional 10 motorcycle ambulances that can reach somewhere and save life as we wait for the other one to get there, because, even in the city, the motorcycle moves fast. We've got the security vehicles. Now in Machakos, you see crime rate has come down. If you call for a police car, they don't ask you to give them fuel, to give them a vehicle. They come and serve you. That is the reality. The CCTV cameras that we've set up. We build a stadium that is tangible, where we are getting money from it. Every day there are bookings for events. We have the park, we have the water program, we have the road program. Right now as we speak, I'm on a program to tarmac our towns. If you go to Machakos right now, there's so much dust. Our bulldozers, our graders are clearing the way. We are rolling the ground. We are tomorrow people are seeing MC30 on the ground. They're seeing tarmac of our towns. They're seeing Mulika Mwizis coming up. So you talk to the villager out there, they'll tell you what they're seeing they have not seen since independence.
All right, let's delve into some politics for a moment, and definitely the politics of what you call it, the politics of poverty.
There's a difference, you know, when we
Versus-
talk about what we're doing, there's a difference between politics of development versus politics of poverty.
Okay, I'd like you to hold that thought so that we
Yes.
can listen into a statement that was made by yourself not too long ago, actually. Let's listen into that.
Lazima kila mtu apande cheo, vijana wawe na kazi, maji ipatikane, barabara zijengwe, watu wawe na mali kwa mfuko. Ndio nasema mimi ni kiongozi wa watu ambao wanaheshima, wanaishi maisha mazuri. There is no reason why Kenya cannot bridge the gap between poverty and wealth. Maendeleo chap chap is part of that formula that Obama was talking about.
Maendeleo chap chap is what you're getting a lot of heat chap chap
Yes.
when it comes to that. Another statement that was made by you, you said, I'm baffled at leaders who sleep comfortably year after year for decades as they lord over the poor as tribal kingpins.
Yes.
Many say you are referring to former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka and that you are keen to take over his slot, if you like, as kingpin of UKAMBANI politics.
I'm referring to the old school whereby you find that political leadership is based on a certain clique and elite. I respect my leaders. Kalonzo Musyoka is my party leader. I'm a very, very faithful party member of WIPA. And he is my party leader. I'm not talking about individuals. And this is where the politics of Kenya has failed. You cannot come forth and talk about an ideology, an idea, without being told you're targeting an individual. And this is, it's very important. When President Barack Obama was here, he talked about us bridging the gap between poverty and wealth. And one of the things he said is that leaders have to make a choice between either playing politics or engaging in development. And I always say that in Kenya, for example, if you looked at the ranking, and this is my estimation, of political machinations and political games, we're in the top 10. The US is down in the ground, you know, it's Ukuma 160. But if you look at the rate of poverty in our country, we're the 133rd poorest country in the world, 133rd poorest country in the world, according to United Nations. Yet we are top 10 huko kwa siasa. You know what I mean? We need to flip it. We need to be in the top 10. We talk less, make less political noise, but develop our people. I always say that when I lived abroad, I was lucky to get a scholarship and live abroad. And I saw that there's no difference between us and Westerners. When they bleed like us, when they eat beans, they get gas like us, they're the same. But when they die, they don't come back. The difference is the focus they have on development and not just on talking or posturing and fighting for positions.
Right, so this is not posturing. So are you saying you are in WIPA to stay? Will you still run in 2017 under a WIPA ticket? Or are you seeking to form another political outfit within UKAMBANI?
What I'm concentrating right now is doing my job. My job is to work as the governor of Machakos. I'm a WIPA governor. I'll be a WIPA governor until the next general elections. Whatever happens then, you know how it is in Kenya with politics. Whatever happens then is something that will be defined by the passage of time. I'm not going to tie myself and say that I'm only going to be like this. Nobody can do that. I mean, CORD was not in existence a while back. Jubilee was not in existence. A party called TNA never existed. URP was just a small party. You know what I mean? So all these things are transition. But what is important is it doesn't matter which vehicle we go with in 2017. What matters is this vehicle going to liberate our people from poverty?
Will
to
WIPA
wealth?
liberate people from poverty, do you think? Is that the party you think
I
that will
don't
do
know.
that?
I think that should be talked about by the party leader. And in terms of the philosophy, the politics.
So you have no views on that as a party member?
It is not just what the party has put on the books and written down as a wish. It is what the party is actually doing. It is how the party is consolidating itself. WIPA needs to consolidate itself for development. And that is what Mutua is saying. As a member of WIPA, I'm proud to say at least one person belonging to WIPA in Machakos is working towards development. And not only myself, there are others who are also doing the same. However, you find a lot of propaganda. You find a lot of attacks. You find a lot of people saying Mutua this, Mutua that, Mutua should slow down and everything. And they are all in Wiper, incidentally.
Yeah.
Because they are not actually focusing on the development.
Uh-huh.
They are fearing. They are afraid of change. But I want to say today that change whose time has come is unstoppable. This is a new era. When we were young people, we were told, tungoje vijana, you know, you are leaders of the future. And we need to understand that the future was yesterday, not even today. The future is already here.
All right.
But what we're saying is we are not here posturing for power. We don't
Okay.
want positions.
All right.
We want our people to rise up and walk with dignity. Dignity.
Daktari, posturing, some would accuse you of as well, taking issue with you launching a project in Makueni County, not your county, an event that was snubbed by the governor of Makueni County himself, and saying that surely, yes, there is unity in Ukambani, but you walking into somebody else's turf was essentially trying to, you know, usurp his authority
let me
in
make
that
2
county.
points clear here. The first
Yeah.
thing is there was no launch of any development projects. I was invited to a function to meet the people and a sports event. But that's neither here nor there. The constitution is very clear about freedom of movement. The governor of Makueni came to Machakos on Okoa Kenya campaign and talked to people. I do not need permission to go anywhere in this country. I don't need permission to go and be in a function anywhere. You remember when the Nairobi governor, Kidero, went to Nyanza, went to other people, said, why are you going there? We have a right. And this is where this political simplicity, as I may call it, that is making our people go down. We need to share our resources, our ideas, our plans. You know, I have no beef with Governor Kibwana. I have no beef with Governor Malombe or my brother in Kideia. We have the right, if invited, to go somewhere. And Makueni leaders came to Machakos. They came to me and said, please come and visit us. You are our child. You know, Makueni and Machakos are in the same district. If you find a Kamba from Kitui and a Kamba from Machakos, all suffering from lack of water, they all share the same history, same basis. Today I talk to clan leaders. The clan groups of Machakos, Makueni and Kitui are the same. We are one people. So you cannot start restricting me from, you know, it's actually against my human rights. And it's against the human rights of the people who want to hear the message you are bringing. And it is a message of hope that says change is here. If we pull together, and I've said I want to work with all leaders. I want to work with Governor Kibwana. Governor Kibwana has to be given space to perform by his MCAs and other leaders. Malombe has to be given space to perform because they are leaders with their own plans and they can perform. But we can share our ideas, we can share our resources. I've bought equipment. When I'm done with digging for what I'm digging 1,000 balls in Machakos by June. When I'm done with that equipment, why should I just keep it or rent it out while my brothers in Kitui are suffering? I'm going to write to Professor Kibwana. I'm going to write to Malombe and say, my brother, I have this equipment lying idle. Do you want it? Can you use it?
All right.
You know, so that we can help our people. And that is where the problem is. Nobody's focusing on that child who is sleeping hungry.
Okay, so
nobody's
it's all
focusing on that mother. It's about
right.
the people we need to focus on.
Okay, Daktari, there's also others in Wiper Party who are uncomfortable
Yes.
with your working with the president. You know, citing that he came to your county and offered some money, and everybody says, no. Something is not right here. There was an interview this morning by another station, and where one of the members of parliament took great issue with you're working with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Your response to that, why are people in Wiper so uncomfortable with that?
I think it's ridiculous. It's empty politics and simplicity. Uhuru Kenyatta is the president of this country. He controls 85% of the resources. Counties share only 15%. If I want my people to develop, they are not going to develop with the small monies that I'm raising as revenue or the transfers from the national government. If I'm caring about my people, I am going to meet President Uhuru and I'm going to ensure that he supports our projects so that my people can move from the yoke of poverty. I'm going to talk to ambassadors. I'm going to go overseas and talk to funds, Rockefeller Foundation, the Bill Gates Foundation. I'm going to go to America and meet people. I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia and look for bitumen so that I can tarmac my roads. Because what is in my heart is helping my people,
All
not
right.
playing empty politics all the time.
Okay, so for you, it's just pure development.
It's pure development.
All right.
And also, I agree, and I have to admit, I agree with some fundamental development programs that President Uhuru Kenyatta is carrying out. I see what he's trying to do. Where there's a problem, we talk about it. But this idea that when the president does something, everybody has to criticize them. When the court leader does something, everybody has to criticize them. We have to look at merit and say, okay, this is a good idea, you've done well. This is a good idea, you've done well. When you do something bad, we say, aha, hapo umekosea. Lakini sio kila wakati, every single thing has to be criticized. And that is the difference between the Americans, the Europeans, the Australians, the Koreans, and us. We are not able to skip and rise above politics of criticism and pulling each other down to politics of ensuring that we create wealth. We are scaring investors. We are scaring people while our youth are languishing in poverty. Our youth want factories so they can get employment.
All right.
It comes down to that.
All right, comes down to that, and that's where we leave it. Thank you very much, Dr. Alfred Mutua, Governor of Machakos County, speaking to
Thank
us
you very
about
much.
development in his county and politics, the politics of poverty versus the politics of development. We'll continue to watch keenly the events in Machakos County and indeed others as well. We thank him for his time on KTN Prime. I want to take a short break. We'll be right back with more.
Tweet of the day, in association with the National Land Commission.